So now that you've downloaded Zoom, and you may have even joined a Zoom meeting with your fellow teachers, what do you do with it? Let's take a deeper look at what Zoom can do for you with your classroom. I'm going to open up Zoom, and as you guys know, you're greeted with this after you've already signed in. So here's what I'm going to challenge you to do. Start a new meeting and just play with the features before you even add any kids. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start a new meeting, and I want to keep the video on, and I want to use my personal ID. I think it's important that the students see us, and we each have a unique personal meeting ID so that we can use that over and over again. In case a student has multiple teachers, they always know which meeting ID to enter. So I'm going to go ahead and start a meeting. And as it connects, it's going to ask you if you want to call using internet audio. Go ahead and tap on that. And now I want to go through some of the features here in Zoom. So at the top, you'll notice this bar goes away as you're not using it, but when you tap your screen, it comes back. One thing I like to do is tap my screen and go to gallery view over here on the side, and that will show you everybody that is connected. So if you have 25 kids connected, you obviously can't fit that many. You might have to scroll to the left or to the right in order to see everybody that's connected. But there's a little green box that's also around the speaker, and that helps you also to identify who's talking. So one thing I like about Zoom is you can mute your participants. So down here at the bottom, when I tapped on participants, I can mute all. So let's go through some of the features here when you tap your screen. You can mute yourself. You can also stop your video feed, so all they see is your whatever picture you have for your Google account. I'm going to put my video back. There's also share content at the top. So when you're in share content, you see a lot of different options. So I want to show you how you can share a whiteboard when you're with your students. So at the top where it says share content, we're going to tap on that and go down to whiteboard. And now the other computers are just seeing this white screen. I can still see my students in a small view. And if I tap that little minus on the side of it, now I don't even see them and I've got the full space to use. If I want them back, I just need to tap on that blue icon in the corner. So down here, I can change my pen color. I can erase. I happen to have an Apple crayon, so I'm going to use that. So I just wrote that on my screen. I'm going to flip over to the computer where the student is quote unquote connected and show you what that looks like for them. So this is the student view. It is showing the student that they're viewing the teacher's screen and they can see exactly what I wrote. So in order to stop sharing your screen, if you press the arrow at the top, you can choose stop share and it'll go back to your video content. Okay, going back into share content, I'm going to take you to Google Drive. Now the first time you share your screen, you will have to log in. So I'm going to choose my Revere account and I need to give it permission to see files on my Google Drive. It will only access them while you're in a Zoom meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and allow. So it may take a moment, but it should load up your files from Google Drive. I'm going to go ahead and go into one of my folders and pull up something from chapter 5. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on share and it brings up that I need to log in. So after I log in, this is my Google form that I had created online for the students. So it looks just like a Google form. I can tap in it and interact with it. So at this point, if I gave this to my students, I could have them go through it with me, and we could go through what the correct answers are and why. So I'm going to hit stop share. One of the other things that you can do in sharing content is take everybody to the same website. So you have to type in the website that you want to take everyone to. In this case, I used Nat Geo Kids, but you could take them to Achieve or whatever it is, and then tap on share. And it will open up the website. The students now see the website instead of your picture as one of the views, and you can still see the kids. Again, if you need to and you need to see the whole screen, you could tap on that minus and it'll give you the full screen. But now you guys could read articles together or watch videos. Just remember that there may be some delay or lag time between what you're showing and what the kids see. It should not be significant, but it could be a little bit frustrating if you're using a video. So I'm going to stop sharing this. And again, it takes us back to our gallery view. Let's go through one more thing on sharing our content. If I go to screen and start my broadcast, it's going to share anything on my screen. And so I want to actually flip over to a keynote. And on this keynote, I could use this just like I was teaching at school. So you know you're still sharing because you've got the screen record button up here. But this is a nice option, especially if you're not comfortable being in front of the camera. In order to get back, you're going to tap on that, stop screen broadcasting or sharing your screen, and then tap on it one more time, and it's going to take you back to your gallery view. During that time that you stopped screen broadcasting, the students just see your Google image, so whatever you have attached to your Google account for Revere. Some other things that I want to share with you are up here in More. You can actually choose a virtual background, which is nice. When you tap on that, you'll see that you have some options down here, and these are some backgrounds that are included with Zoom, but when you hit the plus sign, you can choose from any of your photos in your photo stream. So if you really like being on the Revere football field, you can choose that from your photo stream, and now your background is the Revere football field. So as I move into the screen, you can see better that I look like I'm standing on the Revere football field. If I hit that X, now I can see my gallery view again, and the student is actually seeing me talking from the Revere football field. So that's kind of a nice option. In order to undo that, go back to More, go back to Virtual Background, and then choose None from the bottom, and then you can hit that X. And you go back to your meeting. Last thing I want to show you is when you tap on End Meeting, you have two options. You can leave the meeting or you can end the meeting. When you leave the meeting, instead of ending it, the participants can stay and they can continue to talk, which is nice if they're working on a project. You could set them up to work collaboratively that way. But if you don't need that, then you just want to tap on End Meeting and it will disconnect everybody from the meeting, video and audio. On the home screen, you can schedule meetings. This is really if people are using Google Calendar, because you can integrate your meeting with Google Calendar. So setting up a meeting isn't required if you would like to just start a meeting, a new meeting, and send out the information. But if you want to know the information ahead of time, you can use the schedule meeting to do that. So for example, if I know I want to meet with my class tomorrow at noon, I can put it in here, and if you want that to be a weekly occurrence, you can do that. And using your personal ID, again, that's preference, but I think it's a good idea because we all have our own. I don't think we need meeting passwords, but you could enable that if you want to. One thing I do like is under advanced options, you can decide to automatically record your meeting this way, which is nice, so that if you have students that don't join, you can always send them the recording later. So don't be afraid to play with scheduling a meeting and seeing what works for you. I'm going to cancel that one. I think that's it. Don't be afraid to play. Zoom with one another and get comfortable with it in case we need to use this for remote teaching.